In a realm long ago, in a place called the Kingdom of Seri, there lived a man known as the Serivan. Picture this: 5 eons back, the streets of Seri were bustling with the clanging of pots and pans, as the Bodhisatta, the wise potter, carried his wares. His companion, however, was not as virtuous. This greedy fellow, also nicknamed the Serivan, had no qualms about trickery. One day, the Bodhisatta and his fellow Serivan crossed the Telavāha river into the city of Andhapura. They divided the city streets between them, embarking on a mission to hawk their kitchenware in their respective territories. In the heart of Andhapura, a destitute family struggled to survive. Once affluent merchants, their fortunes had waned over time. Only a young girl and her grandmother remained. Their only treasure, a golden bowl from the glory days of their family, lay hidden amidst the pots and pans. Years of neglect had rendered it tarnished and unrecognizable. As luck would have it, the Serivan, the greedy hawker, reached their doorstep, crying, "Waterpots to sell! Waterpots to sell!" The young girl, with innocent hope in her eyes, beseeched her grandmother, "Could you buy me a little trinket, grandmother?" The grandmother, her heart heavy with poverty, considered their options. She pointed to the golden bowl, forgotten amidst the kitchenware, and said, "Perhaps we could trade this, dear." Welcoming the Serivan into their home, the grandmother handed him the golden bowl, hoping to exchange it for something small. But the greedy hawker, suspecting the bowl's true worth, feigned indifference. He scratched the bowl with a needle, confirming its authenticity. Yet, he declared, "It's not even worth half a farthing." He tossed the golden treasure to the ground, rose from his seat, and left the house, all the while scheming to claim it without offering anything in return. Now, following their predetermined street assignments, the Bodhisatta, the Serivan, arrived at the same house, shouting, "Waterpots to sell!" The young girl once again expressed her wish to her grandmother, and they decided to try their luck once more. With a warm smile, the Bodhisatta entered their humble abode. The grandmother offered him the golden bowl and explained their previous encounter with the Serivan. Upon seeing the bowl's true value, the Bodhisatta declared, "This bowl is worth 100,000 pieces. I'm sorry, I don't have that much with me." The grandmother, in gratitude for the Bodhisatta's kindness, insisted, "The previous hawker claimed it was worthless, but your goodness has transformed it into a priceless treasure. Please, take it and give us something in exchange." The Bodhisatta, possessing 500 pieces of money in a stock worth as much, selflessly gave it all to the destitute family. He requested to retain only his scales, his bag, and 8 pieces of money, to which they readily agreed. He hurried to the river, paid the boatman with his last 8 coins, and crossed the river. Meanwhile, the Serivan, driven by regret and greed, returned to the house, hoping to make a deal for the golden bowl. But the grandmother, still resentful of his previous deception, confronted him with a stern tone. She informed him that the Serivan's counterpart, an upright and noble hawker, had offered 1,000 pieces for the golden bowl and had already taken it away. Devastated, the Serivan realized that he had lost a golden bowl worth a fortune. Consumed by bitterness and hatred, he searched for the Bodhisatta and found him by the riverside. Desperation had driven him to madness. He demanded the boatman to turn back, but the Bodhisatta, ever composed, refused. As he watched the Bodhisatta's boat recede into the distance, the greedy hawker's heart burned with regret. Blood poured from his lips, and the intensity of his emotions shattered his very soul, like the cracked mud at the bottom of a sun-dried tank. It was in that moment that the seed of hatred was sown within him, marking the first time Devadatta bore a grudge against the Bodhisatta. The Bodhisatta, having spent his life in acts of charity and benevolence, eventually attained the highest level of spiritual enlightenment. His good deeds had paved the way for a noble destiny. And as the Supreme Buddha concluded this tale, he left the audience with a lesson: if in this faith you prove remiss and fail to attain its promised path, then, like the Serivan, you'll rue the prize your folly lost. This ancient parable reminds us of the transformative power of kindness and the consequences of greed. It is a timeless tale, echoing through the annals of history, teaching us that our actions can shape our destiny, for better or for worse.